everybody. My name is Jim. I am owner operator of Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot, and you are watching Vendor Corner. Vendor Corner is sponsored by Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot. We are located in Central Florida. If you're ever in the area, please drop us a line and stop on by. Maybe you can even be a guest on Vendor Corner. What is Vendor Corner? Vendor Corner is a show for vendors or booth owners in a shop like Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot, or for owners of the malls and shops themselves. Okay, we've got two topics to discuss today. The first topic is selling on Whatnot, and then the second topic is are you kidding me? So let's start off with topic number one, selling on Whatnot. So Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot started selling on Whatnot about 2 months ago. It's been different. We are only selling comics, even though we're a vintage store and we have access to a lot more stuff than vintage. We're just selling comics right now. The sign up was really easy. The setup, as far as setting up your shows and stuff like that, is easy. The biggest thing you probably want to do if you're considering it is get prepared before you sign up, because once you sign up, Whatnot gives you a bunch of incentives for your first few shows, and you want to be really prepared for those before you do that. So that was probably the first thing that I did wrong, is I signed up, but I wasn't really ready to do a show. I didn't have the equipment I needed. I didn't have the stand for my computer. I didn't have the lighting right. I didn't have any of that right. So that was a little bit difficult. And then the second thing is shipping. Shipping is difficult on Whatnot. It's not the easiest thing to do, so you need to really do your research into shipping. Whatnot itself has some tutorials that you can watch, and they're pretty good, but my suggestion is that you watch anything and everything out there as far as shipping goes, and then you go from there. Now, when we talk about selling vintage on Whatnot, there's one resource that you could definitely look into. You can check out House of Coop right here. I'm going to try to get the glare off of it. House of Coop on Whatnot. If you check them out, they're a vintage couple that sells on Whatnot. No doubt about that. So they are competition and they're not competition, but they have shows weekly to help you out as a seller or reseller on Whatnot. They're a fantastic couple. They'll answer your questions. They'll do all that. So definitely go on Whatnot and check out House of Coop if you're thinking about selling vintage on Whatnot. They even have a YouTube channel, and I'll try to tag that video in my video. And they talk all about the shipping. And the shipping, like I said, was the hardest thing to do. So selling on Whatnot, yeah, just be prepared before you sell. Get your setup all ready. Make sure you have all your items, and then do your research before you actually sign up. Okay, get it all ready, then do the sign up so that you can use those incentives in a smart manner, really, and you won't be in a time crunch where you have to do all these things before just to get incentives that Whatnot gets you before you sign up. And if you want to, you can sign up from the Decades page. Even though we just sell comics, you can sign up for us and we'll get credit for doing that. But Whatnot is a cool platform for selling stuff. It really is. I'm not camera facing in that. I sit behind the camera when I do my comics, but I'm just selling comics. Now I'm going to branch out and do some different things, but I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I started selling other things. And my biggest fear was the shipping. It's still a concern of mine. I'm still working the kinks out in that, and I'm just selling comics. So something you want to think about, just do that research before you do it, and check out House of Coop. By all means, please check out House of Coop on Whatnot. Even if you don't want to sell on Whatnot, if you want to purchase stuff or see what's cool or see what's trending, check out House of Coop on Whatnot. Okay, now my next topic is, are you kidding me? So I read a lot of social media as it pertains to vintage booth selling. So, or selling, reselling in a vintage store or whatever. So I was reading the other day and I saw a post that was asking if everybody thought it was a good idea. A lady or a gentleman, I'm not sure which one it was, had been contacted by somebody who wanted to sell items out of their booth and charge them 25%. And I do believe she was going to sell on eBay. I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure. Let's just not worry about the selling platform. Somebody comes to you and says, I'll sell your stuff out of your booth for 25% of the profit. Now you're thinking, okay, yeah, that's not bad. But here's the kicker, is that you had to handle all the shipping. And I was like, what? How can that, how is that even a good deal? You know, I know that they're doing some of the work. If you're a reseller on a platform, there's a lot of work involved. Listing is the first thing, and they're listing it. But then when they sell it, they just turn it over to you. And when did they get their 25%? There's so much wrong with this. So much wrong with this. Okay. They sell it for 25% of the profit. Now, that's what it said in the profit. Now, are they considering the profit after the eBay's fees? And if you're responsible for shipping, are they charging the seller? I don't think they were charging the seller. So, okay, so you have an item that you're going to let them sell. They're going to get 25% of the profit. You know, are they getting the profit after the fees? Or are they getting the profit after the shipping? Because from what I gathered, shipping was just free. And then you get to do all the shipping. Remember, there was so much wrong with that. Okay, so eBay could, if you're doing eBay could take up to like 20%, I think it is. You know, Mercari, all of them are going to take a percentage off of it. Even Whatnot takes a percentage. So I'm selling a comic for somebody on Whatnot. They're going to lose a percentage of Whatnot, and then shipping. I'm going to take shipping, or they're going to eat the shipping. It's way too much. To me, it was a no-brainer of a big fat no. I have a friend that sells on eBay, and now she sells for 50% split for me. I give her items, and she sells at 50% split for me. But I think a lot of what she does is because she's my friend, and then she's making 50% at the end, and she has every right to say, no, I'm not going to sell that. We discuss items before I even give them to her to sell. On, you know, she's looking at the profit margin. She's not going to take a $10 item that's going to lose 20%. That, in her case, she charges the buyer the shipping. You know, she's down to $8. She's not going to do all that work for $4. Okay, but if the item is worth a couple $100, and she's going to wind up with, you know, the profit's 150, and she's going to make 75, and I've sourced it for her and given it to her, and I'm not trying to like shove things down her throat or whatever. Like I said, it has to be something that she agrees to sell. If she looks at it and she decides that the comps are not right for her, meaning there's not a lot of them sold, then she's, you know, this isn't going to sell. She may not take it, you know, and that's all good. So something like that's probably a good way to do it. If you know somebody that sells on eBay and they're willing to, you know, split the true profit with you, to take the fees out, you know, the cost of the materials to ship it and stuff like that, then your work is actually getting the item, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's a lot of work, and sometimes it isn't. But if you get lucky enough to get an item for $1 at a yard sale that sells for $300, and you do not want to sell on eBay, which is something I do not want to do. I do not want to sell on eBay. I am very, very apprehensive when it comes to the shipping. That's why I sell on Whatnot, and I only sell comics. I only sell one thing, and again, even the shipping there is a little difficult. So that, you know, if you've got somebody that's going to do that kind of stuff for you, that's fine. But yeah, 25% of the profit, and the profit wasn't defined, and then you handle the shipping. Hey, another thing on that would be, you're at their, you're at the mercy of their schedule. If they sell an item, if they put it up on a Tuesday and it sells on a Wednesday, you got to get that thing ready and ship it out. It's just kind of crazy. I don't know how all that would happen. I wish I knew a little bit more details on it, but I just looked at that, and most of the people that looked at that went, "What?" Yeah. So, are you kidding me? Really? So, all right. Well, that's it for the show tonight. My name is Jim. I've been your host. This is talking. Oh man, bad show. I know. I'm sorry. This is Vendor Corner, brought to you by Decades Reclaimed Vintage Depot. We're located in Central Florida. If you're ever in the area, please drop us a line. Okay, stop by. I could use some support in this show. So if you want to come on in and be a guest on my show, that's great. That's fantastic. Love to have you. Hey, I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. Hopefully I can do a little bit better next time. Thanks again for watching. Have a great evening. And look at that. I can't even turn the video off.